See, whatever I taught yesterday, from that I'll ask some questions, give me answer. For connecting application and database, one software required. That software is called driver. How many categories of drivers are there? 2 categories. ODBC drivers, JDBC drivers. How many type JDBC drivers are there? 4 type JDBC drivers. Okay. Now, Java application and database, if we connect with ODBC, that connection not possible, failed. To solve that problem only, JDBC drivers came. But JDBC drivers also, first type 1 driver came. That is just like a translator. Later, type 2 drivers came. Then type 1 driver outdated. Like that, type 3, type 4, like that, one by one, new concepts are introducing. Already type 5 also released, but officially not announced. That is unofficial driver also is there. See, type 1 driver for connecting Java application and ODBC. That connection failed, no? To solve that problem only type 1 driver came. But that driver is outdated also. That driver is outdated. It is removed from Java software also. Okay. See, type 1 driver, type 2 driver, type 3 driver, these all I'll explain. See, whenever you install database software, how many parts installed? 2 parts. What is the first one? Database application. Second part, database. Database application, any one example? SQL prompt. Database example, Oracle. So database application and database, 2 parts installed whenever you install any database software. Okay. Now, database application communicating with database by using which language? SQL. SQL full form? Structured query language. Will it database understand Java? No. Database can understand only SQL. Okay. Even if you write a Java program also, through Java program, you have to pass SQL query only to run. So database doesn't know other languages. Database can understand only one language, that is SQL. Okay. MySQL is a database or language? Database. MS SQL Server? Database. MySQL also can understand SQL. SQL Server also can understand SQL. Database application is a front end or back end? Front end. Database is back end. Database application is a client or server? Client. Database is server. So all databases you can call it as server also. Okay. Servers also you can call, because it is receiving requests, processing requests, constructing response, sending response back. That is the reason you can call it as server. Application sending requests to get the response. That's what it is called as client. So any software that is sending requests to get the response, that software is called client. Any software receiving requests, processing requests, constructing response, sending response back, that software is called as server. Like that. Okay. Now, ODBC drivers, JDBC drivers, that concept I'll explain. Now, next, write it. There are 2 ways. So last point, what you written? 4 drivers you written. No? Now next. There are 2 ways. There are 2 ways to connect Java application and database. There are 2 ways to connect Java application and database. There are 2 ways to connect Java application and database. First one, by using JDBC and ODBC drivers. Second one, by using JDBC drivers only. There are 2 ways to connect Java application and database. One is by using JDBC and ODBC drivers. Second one, by using JDBC drivers only. But by using only ODBC, not possible. By using only ODBC, not possible. There are two ways to connect Java application and database. First one by using JDBC and ODBC drivers. Second one by using JDBC drivers only. See, database here just database, any one database. Here Java application, Java application. Java application. Here two ways. One way using JDBC and ODBC drivers. So here JDBC driver and ODBC driver. Like this. Like this, connecting possible. One more way, only JDBC driver. One more way, only JDBC driver. JDBC driver. This is one more way. Here, if you want, first actually what is happened is ODBC drivers were exist before Java. ODBC drivers were exist before Java. When Java introduced in the market, Java application and database, they connected with only ODBC. That connection failed. That's what JDBC drivers introduced. This is introduced, JDBC driver. This JDBC driver nothing but type 1. This is type 1 driver. This type 1 driver first introduced. It is translator. It translates Java instruction into ODBC understandable format. Like that, connected. That problem solved. But this is performance point of view very poor because it will takes more time consuming. So communication between Java application and database with two drivers. That's the reason communication slow. Performance point of view very poor. That's what type 2 driver introduced. But type 2 driver, if you want to use, no need of JDBC, ODBC driver. Type 2. Type 2 introduced. Type 2. Later type 4 also. This is only type 4. Type 4 also doesn't require ODBC. Type 2 or type 4 driver. About type 3, I'll cover later. First, that is also if I had confusion comes. So type 1 driver here type 2 or type 4. After getting this one, type 1 outdated. But what is the difference between type 2, type 4? And what's the difference between type 3? These all I'll explain. These all important only. Okay. Now write this one diagram. Write this diagram. There are two ways to connect Java application and database. One is by using JDBC and ODBC drivers. Second one by using JDBC drivers only. So total 4 types of JDBC drivers. Either type 1, either type 2 or type 4. Type 3, I'll cover later. Now, I'll ask some more questions. Give me answer. Can we connect Java application and database with only ODBC drivers? No, it is not possible. If you want to use ODBC, which type JDBC driver required? Type 1 JDBC driver required. Okay. If you want to use only JDBC, which type JDBC? Type 2 or type 4. Okay. If you are using type 2 or type 4, ODBC not required. If you are using type 1, compulsory ODBC required. If you are using ODBC, type 1 only required. Other driver doesn't support. Okay, like that. Now, first you remember these all points, whatever I covered. Say, if they ask questions from JDBC, they'll ask questions from about drivers only in interview. Okay, drivers are important because confusion questions only, interview questions. Okay, that is always remember. Confusion question only, interview question. Complicated question only, interview question. Okay, easy question they won't ask. If they ask, all will give answer. Then company has to give a job all to all people. That will be happen. But what students will do generally while reading books, confusion comes, they'll skip. Complicated comes, they'll skip. But that is only you have to focus more. They are going to ask that type of questions only in interviews. Confusion question only they'll ask. Complicated question only they'll ask. You try to work hard to understand confusion questions, complicated questions. Okay. Now, this is Java application and database connection style. Now, here ODBC drivers are DLL files. JDBC drivers are Java classes. Now that point also not done. All ODBC drivers are .dll files, dynamic link libraries. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. Nothing but .class files. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. .class files. All ODBC drivers are .dll files, dynamic link library files. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. Every class one .class file generated, no? That's what .class file. All the JDBC drivers are classes in Java. So .class files. Now, drivers are DLL. ODBC drivers are DLL files. JDBC drivers are classes. Classes nothing but .class file. Suppose in a one program, can I write 5 classes? In a one program, can I write 5 classes? Yes. If we compile, how many .class file generated? 1 or 5? 5 generated. Every class one .class file generated. Okay. Every class one .class file generated. So in a one program, you can write 5 classes also, 10 classes also, n number of. But if you write 10 classes, 10 .class file generated. 5 class, if you write 5 .class file generated. Okay. Now, here all JDBC drivers are classes in Java. .class files. So every driver is one class. Now, but these are DLL files. .dll, dynamic link library file. That is Microsoft company products. So when you open ODBC, here this app comes with Windows operating system only. This app comes with Windows operating system. In this, if you click add, these are files. These are dynamic link library files, DLL files. Okay. These are DLL files. Those are called ODBC drivers. Now, JDBC drivers are just .class files or Java programs. like a Java classes. Okay. Now, till I didn't explain about one concept, whatever I covered yesterday, day before yesterday, what is it? Specification. First, that is I'll explain. Then I'll start one driver, functionality, advantage, disadvantage, programs, everything. First of all, one specification I'll explain. See, what is JDBC? Not full form. Definition. JDBC is a specification for developing database applications with Java programming language. Okay, that is your seen definition. But in that, database application related points I covered, but specification not completed. First heading, note down, specification. Specification. A specification is a set of rules and guidelines that are used to develop applications and environments. A specification is a set of rules and guidelines that are used to develop applications and environments. A specification is a set of rules and guidelines that are used to develop applications and environments. Now, I'll explain. Even Java programming language also we can call it as specification. Java is a programming language, Java is a specification, Java is a platform, Java is a technology. These all you have seen except a specification. Why it is called programming language, why it is called platform, why it is called technology, you have seen in core Java classes. Okay. Now specification word, now I'm explaining. Now here, specification nothing but rules and guidelines. It is just one document. See, specification, Java language also one specification is there. It is available in internet, you can download also. Say, it is specification. Java language specification or JDBC specification or Solid specification, JSP specification. Further in advanced Java, all specifications only. JDBC is a specification. Solid is a specification. JSP is a specification. Okay. Java programming language, that is also we can call specification. Now, specification. Frameworks are different, specifications are different. Specification contains rules and guidelines. Seeing that rules and guidelines, you have to write program. That is called specification concept. But the frameworks nothing but already programs written, ready-made programs. You have to open, you have to customize according to your requirement. Again, you can deploy in server. That is framework. Framework nothing but ready-made program. But specification is not a program, specification is not a software. Specification contains rules and guidelines. They provided some rules and guidelines. Seeing that rules and guidelines, you can write program. That is specification. Okay. Now, suppose this specification, it can be JDBC, it can be Solids, it can be JSP, it can be Java language specification, any one specification. Suppose Java language specification. Because already you learned Java, core Java, with that easily you'll understand. Specification. Java programming language also we can call it as specification. Because writing program purpose, there also rules and guidelines are there. Okay. For example, every statement must be terminated with semicolon. It is one rule. It is one rule. Like this, there are so many rules are there. So many rules. Okay. Like that, rules are here. Rules are there. Some guidelines are there. Recommended style also called guidelines. Suppose example, you studied in core Java. How many types of variables are there? How many types? 3 types. What are those? Instance variables, class variables, local variables. 3 types of variables are there. Okay. Now, When we have to use instance variable, when we have to use class variable, when we have to use local variable. Do you know? Give me answer. When we have to select instance variable, if the value is different for every object, then we have to select instance variable. When we have to use class variable, if the value is same for all objects, then we have to go for class variable. Nothing but static variable. Non-static is called instance variable. Static is called class variable. When we have to use local variable, what is local variable? I'm not asking. Inside a method only local variable. Okay. But when we have to select local variable, if any task is there, if you want to calculate, if you want to perform the task, then we have to select local variable. Task is there, or if the variable depending on another variable, then we have to use local variable. Suppose if I give one variable, some list of variables, can you select properly? Give me answer. Roll number. Which type of variable required? Student roll number. Student roll number. Instance variable. Every student roll number will be different. No? Different means instance variable. Now, student roll number. Which variable? Instance variable. Student name. Instance variable. Student address. Instance variable. Mobile number. Mail ID. College name. Static variable. Class variable. In that college, particular college, all students, same college name will be there. Class variable. University name. Class variable. Okay. C language marks. Instance variable. C++ marks. Instance variable. Java marks. Instance variable. Total marks. Local variable. C, C++, Java, you have to add. Calculation is there. Calculation is there, local variable. Like that, you have to select. Okay. Like if any calculation part is there, if the variable depending on other variable, then you have to use local variable. Total marks depending on C, C++, Java. This variable depending on other three variables. That's what local variable. And you have to add C, C++, Java marks. Calculation is there. You have to select local variable. Suppose employee number. Instance variable. Employee name. Employee salary. Company name. Class variable. Static variable. Company name. Bonus. Local variable. 5% bonus, 10% bonus. Bonus will be depends on salary. Then local variable. Calculation is there, local variable. Like that, you have to select. Okay. Suppose here every statement must be terminated with semicolon. That is called rule. If value is different for object, use instance variable. If the value is same for all objects, use class variable. If any calculation part is there, use local variable. These are called guidelines. Suppose now student company name class variable required. By mistake you written instance variable. It will compile. It will run. You guideline you didn't follow, but it will run. But what is the problem? Memory wasted. For 100 employees are there, 100 employees company name same is there. But actually what you have to select? Class variable. By mistake you selected instance variable. Then it will compile. It is not syntax error. It is logical error. That is your mistake. Then 100 times memory allocated. But if you select static variable, one time memory allocated. Like that you have to select. That is guideline. But guideline you didn't follow. Then what will happen? Compiled. That is your mistake. Logical mistake. That is called Java logic. But calculating factorial, square root, Armstrong number, strong number, perfect number, C language logic. But this type of logic is called Java logic. Here, when we have to use instance variable, when we have to use class variable, when we have to use local variable, when we have to use method, when we have to use constructor, when we have to use instance method, when we have to use class method, when we have to use this keyword implicitly, explicitly, public, private, these all when we have to use, that is Java logic. Object-oriented programming logic. That is Java. Here, in this specification, rules are there, guidelines are there. Rule, if you don't follow, program is not compiled. Say, these according to these rules and guidelines, Java compiler software developed. Java compiler developed. Okay. Seeing these rules and guidelines, you are going to develop application, Java application. Okay. This Java application, you can compile under Java compiler, then compile. Later you have to execute under JVM, Java runtime environment, JVM. These all. Inside the JRE only JVM will be there. Now, see, seeing the specification, rules and guidelines, this Java compiler software already developed. Seeing the specification, rules and guidelines, you are going to develop application. Then this application runs under Java compiler. Compiles under Java compiler. Now runs under Java virtual machine with Java runtime environment. Now, suppose here every statement must be terminated with semicolon. This is one rule. Suppose one Java programmer, he doesn't want to follow Sun Microsystem rule. Instead of semicolon, he wants to write colon. Is it possible? No. What he will think is semicolon, colon, only little different. You observe. Semicolon, colon, only small difference appears, no? But one Java programmer, he doesn't want to follow Sun Microsystem rule. He wants to write colon only. Is it possible? No. The software already developed. That software can understand only semicolon. Okay. But he wants to write colon. Not possible. Program will not compile. For Java programmers, only two options. Either follow rules and guidelines or compile. You develop compiler. Can you develop compiler? No. Then follow rules and guidelines. Okay. Only two options. Either follow rules and guidelines or you develop compiler or you develop JVM. You cannot develop compiler. You cannot develop JVM. Then follow rules and guidelines. That's it. Okay. The software is already designed, already developed. According to that software specification, rules and guidelines, you have to write program. Okay. That is specification. So a specification is a set of rules and guidelines that are used to develop applications and environments. So seeing the specification, rules and guidelines only, compiler software developed. Seeing the specification, rules and guidelines only, JVM developed. But seeing the specification, rules and guidelines only, you have to write Java program. Then only your compiler can understand, JVM can understand. But you don't want to follow means it is not possible. Okay. Here only two options. Either you develop compiler or follow rules and guidelines. You cannot develop compiler. Then follow rules and guidelines. No other option. Okay. Same style here. Now Java application and database. If you want to connect Java application and database, if you want to connect without JDBC driver, is it possible to connect? No. Without ODBC driver, can we connect? Yes. Without ODBC possible, but without JDBC possible? No. Okay. Now this is JDBC specification, rules and guidelines. Now it is, suppose for example, this is JDBC specification. Seeing the specification, rules and guidelines, this JDBC driver developed. Okay. Driver developed by many companies. First party vendor, second party vendor, third party vendor. So many companies are there in the market. They developed. Seeing this JDBC specification, you are going to build database application. Database application. Then this driver can understand. Suppose this, seeing the JDBC specification, rules and guidelines, JDBC driver software already developed by driver vendor. seeing the specification, rules and guidelines, you are going to build database application. This database application, according to these rules and guidelines, if you develop, this driver can understand. Otherwise, this driver cannot understand. Now, here again, suppose you want to develop database application. Now, there are only two options. Either you develop driver or you follow rules and guidelines. Can you develop driver? No. Then follow rules and guidelines. That is JDBC. Is it clear? So what is specification means? Document rules and guidelines. This specification not only for Java people, Java programmers, companies also specification required. Driver, whoever will develop driver also, for them also required. That notes I'll give, note down. JDBC specification used by vendors to develop JDBC drivers. JDBC specification used by vendors to develop JDBC drivers. JDBC specification used by Java programmers to develop database applications. JDBC specification used by vendors to develop JDBC drivers. JDBC specification used by Java programmers to develop database applications. JDBC specification used by vendors to develop JDBC drivers. JDBC specification used by Java programmers to develop database applications. See, JDBC nothing but specification which contains so many rules and guidelines. Seeing that rules and guidelines, driver companies, they developed drivers. Seeing that specification, rules and guidelines, we are going to build database application. Then your application with that JDBC driver environment, it will run. Then it can understand, it works. But if you don't follow rules and guidelines, your program will not run. That's what you must follow rules and guidelines. So we are going to build database application. For building database application, one programming language required, that is core Java up to exception handling. For developing a database application, rules and guidelines required, that is JDBC. So only language not enough. Rules and guidelines also required. How to develop rules and guidelines required, that is JDBC. But with this JDBC, you can develop only database applications. Servlets. With that servlets, you can develop internet applications. Like that. Web applications only can build. Like that. Their rules and guidelines are different. Your rules and guidelines are different. This is for database application. That is for web applications. Like that. Okay. But for both, Java required. That is only core Java. Up to exception handling. Okay. One programming language required, one specification required. If you want to develop any application. Now, database application, later web application, later enterprise application, later mobile application, different applications you are going to build. For any application, one language required, one specification required. Language is Java, specification is here JDBC, next servlets, next JSP, like that. Okay. Now, seeing the JDBC specification, companies are developed drivers. Vendors, nothing but companies, product-based companies like Sun Microsystem, Oracle, Google, IBM, this type of companies are called vendors. Now, you observe this specification given by Sun Microsystem, but drivers are developed by different companies. That's what. Every company should follow that rules and guidelines. That is compulsory. Then only they'll give license. Then only they'll allow to develop. So that is the reason JDBC with Oracle also, JDBC with MySQL also, JDBC with SQL Server also, same, no change. This because all company vendors, they are following rules and guidelines. If it is not followed, what will happen? JDBC with Oracle one course, JDBC with MySQL one more course, JDBC with SQL Server one more course, JDBC with DB2 one more course. How many you learn? Okay, like JDBC with every database on separate JDBC. If they develop their own style, companies also must follow. So not only Java programmer, vendors also following. If like that, if it is not followed, JDBC for Oracle one course, JDBC for MySQL one course, like that will be there. Suppose you will learn JDBC or Oracle here. After joining the company, JDBC with MySQL they'll give. Again, you have to come to Amirpet to learn one more course. Otherwise, not possible. But now, possible. JDBC with Oracle also, JDBC with MySQL also, any database, JDBC same. No change. Okay. Only driver, URL, user, password. 4 words you have to change. Any database. Because of the specification rules and guidelines. If the specification rules and guidelines are not given, then different companies, different style they'll develop. Then every company they'll implement their own. Then who will face the problem? Java programmer will face the problem. Every database on separate course you have to learn. That will be happen. But now it is not there. Java is database independent also. Any database you can develop application. For any database, you can develop your own database application. It is possible because of these rules and guidelines. Okay. Now, is it clear what exactly JDBC? Clear? Now, we are going to build database application. We are going to build database application. Okay. Database application we are going to build. For this, one programming language required. That is Java programming language we are using. Okay. This language only not enough. Rules and guidelines required. That is only JDBC. Now, for developing this one, this language we use, these rules and guidelines will apply. Okay. For developing database application, we use Java programming language syntaxes. We use JDBC rules and guidelines. Then we can build application. That's what for learning this one, core Java up to exception handling knowledge and JDBC knowledge required. Core Java up to exception handling you studied. This is I'll explain. With that we'll build. Okay. But in that specification, how to develop driver also is there. In that specification, how to develop database application also is there. But how to develop database application only you have to learn. How to develop driver not required. After getting a job, if you get a job in Sun Microsystem company or Oracle Corporation, if they assign, then you learn. Present not required. Okay. How to develop driver also will be there. How to develop database application also will be there. In that specification, 70% developing driver will be there. 30% application will be there. In that 30%, just 10% if you learn, you'll get a job. Okay. No need to learn 100% also. 10% enough. Okay. Now, that is you are going to learn. Now, one driver, I'll explain. Now, first one, type 1 driver. Now, note type 1 driver. JDBC, ODBC, bridge driver. JDBC, type 1 driver. JDBC, ODBC, bridge driver. Now, can we connect Java application and database with only ODBC drivers? No. Can we connect Java application and database with only JDBC driver? Yes. Okay. With only ODBC, not possible. With only JDBC, possible. But how many ways are there to connect Java application and database? 2 ways. What is the first one? By using JDBC and ODBC drivers. Second one, by using only JDBC drivers. If you want to use ODBC, Which type JDBC required? Type 1 required. If you want to use only JDBC, type 2 or type 4. If you want to use type 1, is it ODBC compulsory? Yes. Okay. Now, type 1 driver. Now, all ODBC drivers are DLL files. All JDBC drivers, class files, dot class files. Okay. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. All JDBC drivers are classes. These drivers are classes. Okay. Now here, first JDBC, ODBC bridge driver concept you observe. Yesterday, one diagram I given this one. Now ODBC drivers, many drivers are there. ODBC driver for Oracle, ODBC driver for MySQL, ODBC driver for DB2, ODBC driver for Derby, ODBC driver for MS SQL Server, ODBC driver for MS Access. Like that, many ODBCs are there. Okay. Now, starting non-Java applications. What are the languages already exist before Java? Using those languages, and they connected to database with helping of ODBC drivers. So those languages and databases, they connected with ODBC. When Java came and exists in the market, same style they connected. They used only Java. They tried, but this connection failed. This connection failed. Now, Java application, ODBC driver database, like this, they connected, but connection failed. To solve this problem, type 1 JDBC driver introduced. Type 1 JDBC driver. This is introduced. What this type 1 JDBC driver will do is, it will take this instruction and converts into ODBC understandable format. Now this connection failed. That is the reason type 1 JDBC driver introduced. Okay. First you write this diagram. Online students, end of the session, I'll clarify your doubts. Online students, end of the session. Every day I'll give a time. At the time I can ask. Listen the class and write the notes. End of the session, I'll give a time for doubts. Is it over? See, seeing this diagram, give me answer. How many ODBC drivers? One driver or many drivers? Many drivers. How many type 1 JDBC drivers? One driver. It is just one driver. Type 1 JDBC driver, one driver only. ODBC drivers, many drivers. So actually connection failed here. Java application and database, Java application and ODBC connection failed. To solve this problem, type 1 driver came. Okay. So whatever Java application passing instruction, that instruction converted into ODBC understandable format. Notes I'll give. Okay. Java application instruction, Java application calls converted to ODBC calls. ODBC understandable format converted. So type 1 driver functionality, it converts Java calls into ODBC calls. That is converted. Then ODBC can understand. Then here, if you want to connect to Oracle, this driver. If you want to connect to MySQL, this driver. If you want to connect other database, that driver. Every database separate driver. Okay. So type 1 JDBC driver is a one driver. ODBC drivers are many drivers. Clear? This is type 1 driver diagram. Now I'll explain. First, is it over? Now. Type 1 JDBC driver. Now type 1 JDBC driver, all JDBC drivers are classes in Java. Nothing but dot class files. All JDBC drivers are classes in Java. Dot class files. It's one class. Write it. Type 1 driver class name. sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc ODBC driver. That name like that only. Okay. sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc ODBC driver. That is driver class name. So sun is a package. You studied it. Java package, Java X package like that. Sun is also one package. Sun is a package. JDBC and ODBC sub package. JDBC ODBC driver is a class name. So these are all small letters. This is each word first letter capital. It is a package. These are sub package. This is a class name. So sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc ODBC driver. Sun is a package, JDBC is a sub package, ODBC is a sub package, JDBC ODBC driver is a class name. So main package name not only Java, many are there. In core Java, only Java you studied. Java.lang, Java.util, Java.io, Java.net, like that you studied. But here Java is there, Java X is there, Sun is there, Oracle is there, Jakarta is there. So many are there in advanced Java. Okay. So many are there. ORG, OMG, Sun, Jakarta also is there. There are so many. Okay. Sun is a package name. JDBC is a sub package name. ODBC is a sub package name. JDBC, ODBC driver class. Class means each word first letter capital, no? That's what J capital, O capital, D capital. Is it over? So it is a package. These two class sub package. This is class name. Now, driver location. rt.jar file in Java software up to JDK 1.7. rt.jar file in Java software up to JDK 1.7. RT. Nothing but runtime. jar, Java archive. It is like a zip file. In a Windows environment, zip, unzip is, like that. All Java files we can group together as a one jar file. That is Java archive. Archive also you can call. RT, runtime, jar, Java archive. So up to 1.7, this driver outdated. It is removed from Java software. 1.8 onwards, that file is not there. This jar file is not there. Driver is not there. It is outdated. But that's what program also not possible. This one only interview purpose. Why it is outdated? They'll ask advantage, disadvantage. That is the reason you are learning. Just write it. Note. Type 1 driver removed. Type 1 driver removed from JDK 1.8 and onwards. Type 1 driver removed from JDK 1.8 and onwards. 1.8 also removed, 1.8 onwards also removed, not there. Present type 1 driver is not there. The driver class is not there in Java software. Okay. Even if you write program, if you compile, successfully compiled while running, that class not found exception comes. Okay. So this only theory part you have to learn. Program not possible. 1.7 software we have to install. Then possible. Okay. Present latest version JDK 19. Next month 20 also coming. Okay. So it is 1.7, nothing but 7. 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, 1.10 onward, they given 10, 11, 12 like that. That's what 19 we are calling now. So this class is not there in 1.8 version and onwards. 1.8 also it is not there. 1.8 onwards also that class is not there. Removed. Because of performance issue, they removed. Okay. Now, this is about type 1 driver. Type 1 driver developed by Sun Microsystem. Driver vendor. Sun Microsystem company only developed this one. That's what package name Sun. Sun Microsystems. Driver vendor Sun Microsystem. Type 1 driver developed in C language. So for developing type 1 driver, they used C language. Type 1 driver developed in C language. So C language, powerful programming language. C, C++ also powerful programming languages. All system softwares are developed in C, C++ programming languages. System software purpose still in the market, number one is C and C++. C++ is not a new. C plus oops, that is C++. Okay. We are writing C++, but it is nothing but C plus object-oriented principles. That is become as C++. Increment operator, no? What is added? Oops added. Like that. C plus oops. That is C++. That is extension like. Now, C and C++, powerful programming language as compared to Java. Java popular, but not powerful. Powerful means C++. Powerful word different, popular word different, no? So C, C++ powerful, but Java popular. Okay. Type 1 driver developed in C language. C language programming, that is type 1 driver. Now, type 1 driver, it is outdated. But why it is outdated? Advantages, disadvantages, functionality, architecture, they'll ask an interview. That is the reason you have to learn. Write this one. Type 1 driver architecture. Type 1 driver architecture. Type 1 driver architecture. Type 1 driver architecture. Say Java application, nothing but Java program. In this program, application code. Here, type 1 driver, JDBC, ODBC, bridge driver. This is compulsory, requires ODBC, no? That is the reason they given name like this. In a Java program, application code will be there. With that application code, we'll load the driver. So I given already, all JDBC drivers are in Java language classes. The driver is on class. That is, will load in that application with application code. That driver communicates with ODBC. That driver communicates with ODBC tool. This ODBC tool selects one ODBC driver. ODBC driver for Oracle, ODBC driver for MySQL, like that, one driver selected. With the driver, it is connected to database. Now, here, database. Now, this ODBC tool contains ODBC driver. We'll select the driver to connect to a database. That is connected. Here, this is totally Java program. So whatever we are writing, that is called Java application. In that application only driver will be loaded. Driver is just one class. That class will load in Java program. This is totally Java program. This is just now one dialog box I have shown, no? ODBC dialog box. That is, in that only this will be there. This software we cannot see. So this software we cannot see. This software we can see. In this software only this is appears. This is one Java program we are going to write. So where is type 1 driver? In Java program. Where is ODBC driver? In ODBC tool. Database we cannot see. Got it? So our Java program will connect to the dialog box. On ODBC tool came, no? That one will connect to a database. This is type 1 driver architecture. Nodo. Type 1 driver architecture. Type 1 driver program, no need to learn, and it is not possible also, because up to 1.7 only that driver is available. 1.7 software if you install, then possible. Even 1.7 software link also removed from Sun Microsystem website, Oracle website. Okay, already downloaded software is there, possible. Otherwise not possible. Okay, and no need to practice, no need to run, no need to learn. Type 3, type 4 you have to learn. Type 2 also stop to use. But type 2 onwards I'll teach. Type 2 not outdated, stop to use. Why? That is also we'll see. These are interview questions in JDBC. This is type 1 driver architecture. Type 1 driver architecture. In a Java program, some code will be there. That with that code will load the driver, because driver is one class. That class will load. After loading, that driver communicates with ODBC. ODBC contains one driver, ODBC driver. Whichever database you want to connect, that ODBC driver select. With that, connect to database. This is a concept. Okay. Now, here total 3 softwares. Our Java program like a one software. These 2 like a one software. This is like a one software. Okay. Now this actually this is separate only. This is one software. This is one software. If we install this software appears in this software. This is one software. This is one Java program. This comes with predefined Java library. So nothing but this is also one software separate. So like that, if you think it is one software, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. But what we'll do, type 1 driver will load in our Java program. This driver will load in our Java program. And this driver already present in ODBC tool. That's what 1, 2, 3 I'm saying. Otherwise, all 5 independently. Okay. Now you observe, you are going to write one Java program. In that Java program, you will load the type 1 driver. After loading, that driver connected to ODBC tool. So the tool is this one. This is only tool. Now that Java program, if you connect to this drive ODBC tool, that connection failed. To solve that problem only, type 1 driver introduced. Here we'll select. Suppose you want to connect to Oracle. Then here one name is there. Microsoft ODBC for Oracle. This is ODBC driver. This is nothing but ODBC driver for Oracle. This is will select, will configure, then connect it to Oracle. If you want to connect any other driver, MS SQL Server, then you can connect this one. Like this. If you want to connect to MS Access, see, you can connect to MS Access. If you want to connect to DBase, like this, drivers are available. Okay. So in a ODBC drivers, every database separate. But type 1 JDBC driver, one driver. ODBC drivers, many drivers. Now, note down. Type 1 driver functionality. Type 1 driver functionality. It converts Java calls into ODBC calls. You can write like this also, or you can write like this also, or you can write. It converts Java instructions into ODBC understandable format. It converts Java instructions into ODBC understandable format. Whatever Java instruction, Java application passing, that instruction ODBC cannot understand. To solve that problem only type 1 driver came. It converts Java instructions into ODBC understandable format. Type 1 driver functionality. Type 1 driver developed in which language? C language. C language. Okay. That is also remember. Type 1 driver developed in C language. That is advantage, disadvantage category. I'll show you. Now, type 1 driver advantages. Type 1 driver advantages. Now, seeing that architecture or seeing that first diagram, you can give answer. If you want to change the database, is it required to change type 1 JDBC driver? No. Is it required to change ODBC driver? Yes. Okay. Now, type 1 driver is one driver or many drivers? One driver. ODBC drivers? Many drivers. If you want to change the database, what you have to change? ODBC you have to change. But is it required to change type 1 JDBC? No. That means it is advantage, no? That is only advantage, no other advantages. Write this one. Write it. Only one driver that supports all ODBC enabled databases. Only one driver that supports all ODBC enabled databases. That is only advantage, no other advantages. Type 1 driver disadvantages. Type 1 driver disadvantages. See, how many ways are there to connect Java application and database? How many ways are there to connect Java application and database? Two ways. What is first one? By using JDBC and ODBC drivers. Second one, by using only JDBC drivers. Which one is better? Second one better, no? Now, with first one, it will take more time. Performance issues comes. Okay. That's what here. Disadvantage, performance overhead. Since Java calls should go through via JDBC and ODBC drivers. In between, two drivers are there. JDBC driver is there, ODBC driver is there. That's what performance point of view, poor. Performance overhead, since Java calls should go through via JDBC and ODBC drivers. So between Java and database, JDBC driver is there, ODBC driver is there. That's what performance overhead. Okay. Second one, type 1 driver developed in which language? That means platform dependent or independent? Platform dependent. It is a platform dependent. See, suppose 5 computers are there. 5 computers connected together as a network, LAN, local area network. 5 computers connected together. In this system, Oracle database installed. In this system, Java program you written. This Java program, if you want to connect to this database, it is possible with a type 1 driver. Possible. But problem is, we must install ODBC. ODBC, where we have to install is in this system you have to install. Then this ODBC connected to this system's database. But suppose in this computer application, if you want to connect to this database, here also you have to install ODBC. Suppose this computer application, if you want to connect to this system database, here also you have to install ODBC. Suppose in a LAN, 200 computers are there. Then 200 computers in every computer you have to install. That is disadvantage, no? ODBC needs to be installed on every system, every local system. Now, in this case, now database installed in this computer. You are working in this computer. Okay. database installed in this computer, you are working in this computer, then this is called local system. This is called remote system. You are using other system database. You are using this system, but you are using this system, computer is one, database is other computer. It is possible. But problem is, every computer you have to install ODBC. Whichever system requires database, that system you have to install ODBC. Suppose 200 computers are there. 200 computers you have to install ODBC. That means ODBC needs to be installed on local system. That is nothing but disadvantage. Administrator has to take care of all systems. That is burden. Write this one. ODBC needs to be installed on local system. ODBC needs to be installed on local system. ODBC needs to be installed on local system. These are the disadvantages of type 1 driver. Okay. You observe, advantages are more or disadvantages are more. This is the reason only outdated. Okay. With this reason only outdated. But only one benefit, if you want to change the database, JDBC driver, no need to change. That is only benefit. Okay. With this reason only type 1 driver outdated. Now, I'll ask some questions. Give me answer up to here. Okay. You have to remember subject. What are the questions daily I'm asking? Those questions only interview questions. Okay. Now, whatever I taught, from that randomly I'll ask random questions. Okay. Now give me answer. Whatever I taught, from that, just yesterday, day before yesterday onwards, whatever I taught, from that randomly I'll ask. What is database application? If you give answer, you will remember. Otherwise, you will forget. That's it. You observe. While asking variables also, all people not given answer. Reason? Forgot. Studied, forgot. That will be happen. See, whatever I am teaching today, tomorrow if I ask 20% subject, you'll remember, 80% subject you'll forget. If I repeat, if you open mouth, if you give answer, the 20 becomes 40, 40 becomes 60, 60 becomes 80, 80 becomes 100. If I don't repeat, if I don't ask any question, 20 becomes 10, 10 becomes 5, 5 becomes 0. One day JDBC completed, one day course completed. Advanja also completed. BTech completed, no? 4 years BTech. Okay, 4 years BTech. How many subjects? 30 to 40 subjects. Each semester 5 subjects. 6. See how many subjects are there? 4 years. 30 to 40 subjects are there, no? All passed with 70% score. Okay, 70% minimum. All are passing distinction. Like that. But end of the course, they are unable to write programs. Java also is there. In CSC, CSCT student, Java course also is there. Core Java completed, Advanced Java completed. Okay. So what is happened, you observe? That's what. At least put efforts, work hard in a AMI-repeat. Otherwise, AMI-repeat course also wasted. Okay. Don't feel like a theater. Don't watch like a movie. Okay. Open mouth, give answer. Nothing will happen. You'll get a subject. Okay. Now, database application. What is database application? Application communicating with database is called as database application. Application communicating with database by using which language? SQL. SQL full form? Will it database understand Java? No. Will it database can understand only SQL? MySQL is a database or language? Database. Database, can I call it as server? Application, can I call it as a client? Client. Okay. Client means sends a request to get the response. Server means receives the request process the request, constructs the response, sends the response back to a client. Client and servers are softwares or computers? Softwares. In a one computer, many servers can be installed. Okay. In a one computer only, 10 servers, 10 databases, 10 and clients also can be installed. All can be in a one system also possible. So server means computer, client means computer. That is wrong. Client and servers are softwares. Database also software. Database is a software. But what is database? If I ask, what will you answer? Software, and it is organized collection of data. How the data organized in database? Tables. What table contains? Fields and records. Fields and records. What is specification? Set of rules and guidelines that are used to develop applications and environments. JDBC specification used by companies. What purpose? To develop JDBC drivers. JDBC drivers. JDBC specification used by Java programmers. What purpose? To develop database applications. Okay. Now, what you are going to learn? How to develop driver or how to develop a database application? How to develop database application you are going to learn. Okay. With JDBC, we are going to build database application. Okay. Our application communicating with database. Again, we use SQL. Okay. Those who didn't study SQL till parallelly attend. Otherwise, later you attend. But at last, SQL is important. Don't neglect. Okay. Those who completed SQL, it's okay. Those who are learning parallelly also okay. But later, at last, you have to learn. Okay. Present, you can understand. Because what I'll do here, just 4 or 5 queries, I'll explain, I'll connect. But Java programs are same in number of queries. That is advanced Java class. But about SQL also 1 month, 1.5 months you'll learn. SQL, PLSQL, database, these all concept 2.5 months you'll learn again. Okay, that is separate course. But what I'll do here, insert query, update query, delete query, select query, 4 or 5 queries, I'll explain. That's it. But it is not enough to get a job. You have to learn Oracle. Compulsory learn one database, that is best option, Oracle. Oracle knowledge compulsory. Say, if you want to be in the software industry, C language, core Java, SQL, these 3 mandatory. If you want to be in the software industry, with the C language, logical part, operators, control structures, logic is there, no? That logical part will be improved. With the core Java, object-oriented programming logic, OOPS logic, that will be improved. With SQL, data accessing logic. This is also logical part. How to access the data, that is also logical part. That logic also required. Without database, there is no project. With a database, any project requires database. Okay. If you want to develop any project, you require database. Database accessing logic also mandatory. So SQL also important. That SQL in a Oracle also okay, MySQL also okay, DB2 also okay, Derby also okay. Okay. But present example, MongoDB is there. No SQL also works. Some tools are there. But that is, as compared to that, this is better. SQL. Okay. So C language, core Java, SQL. These 3 every time, everywhere, every day required. C language, core Java, SQL. These 3 mandatory. If you want to work in the software industry, these 3 required. These 3 mandatory. If you want to be in the software industry. See, for getting job also knowledge required. After getting a job to survive also knowledge required. That is remember. If you want to survive also knowledge required. To surviving purpose, this is required. Most important. Logical skills in C language different, core Java different, SQL different. These 3 compulsory. Remaining all, with these 3 knowledge, remaining all nothing. Advanced Java is nothing, very simple. Just one program if I show, second program will write. That type. Advanced Java, nothing. Only library. No logic, nothing. Only some procedure type will be there. But Advanced Java very easy, Advanced Java very interesting. But getting job purpose, core Java only important. Don't neglect. Okay. C language, core Java, SQL. These three mandatory. Okay. Now about type 1 driver you studied. About type 1 driver. These all points remember. Tomorrow type 2 driver will see. Okay. Be regular. Every class important. Tomorrow type 2 driver I'll start. With tomorrow class I'll start coding, programming. Okay. Object oriented programming, whatever you studied, you prepare and come. Upcasting, downcasting, auto boxing, auto unboxing, and inheritance, polymorphism, abstract class interface. These all required. You prepare and come. Okay. We'll see continuation tomorrow. Online students, one by one I'll clarify your doubts. Just wait. Banu. Yeah, I'll explain what are the softwares required in order. I'll explain at that time. You can download, you can install. Present, you follow my rule, my way. Navneet. Yeah, I'll share the notes in Google Classroom, but you need to wait up to Monday. Jyoti. C language also most important if you want to survive in a software company as a programmer. Neeraj Kumar, no, 5.class file generated. 5.class file. But whichever class contains main method, that class we have to use to execute the program. Naushad Sharif, I'll explain how to download softwares, how to install, I'll explain. Manasa, recorded link, today recorded video, tomorrow I'll get it. Shreyashni, day 3 video not working. Okay, I'll check it. If not working, tomorrow we'll send again. Aman Kumar, yeah, 2020 fresh as a fresher also eligible. Up to 2019 onwards eligible. Subbu, advanced Java, content I given in first video you can watch. Ram, how to connect database, tomorrow class. Anjali, without knowing SQL also you can join. SQL later also you can learn. Others, yeah, 8 GB RAM, 500 GB SSD, okay, no problem, you can use. 4 GB RAM also okay, no need to worry. Any other doubts, online students? Mohammed, duration 2 months to 2.5 months it will take. Siddhant Kumar, whatever I'm giving notes from that only. Questions different angle comes. Answers are that one only. Ajay Babu, yes, Eclipse is compulsory for advanced Java. I'll teach. Neeraj, yes, C is more powerful than Java. Yes, right. Lucky Suresh, Spring Boot difference is Spring with XML files, Spring Boot with annotations. Neeraj, how can we say is with the C software, you can develop system software and internet application also possible. But with the Java system software, not possible. No pointers. Venkatesh, static variable. It is common to all objects. At the time we use. Venkatasai, yeah, ration period impact will be there. Again, after 1-2 months, again it will come. No need to worry about software. Or like this many times happened. Neeraj Kumar, only library part is less in C language. Everything you need to write. But it is possible. Arif Sheikh, yeah, software companies, they'll use frameworks. At least one framework knowledge also mandatory nowadays. Banu, yeah, replaced with references. Surya, advantages and disadvantages of type 1 driver. See, if you want to change the database, no need to change type 1 driver. That is advantage. Performance point of view, it is poor because it takes more time. And the platform dependent because developed in C language. ODBC you have to install in every system. That is disadvantage. Manoj, yeah, 2017 also, no need to worry. And startup companies, small companies, non-MNC companies, you can join. After getting experience, you can jump to MNC. Rupendra, if you know HTML, it is okay. Even if you don't know, you can understand. No need to worry. Redmi Note 5 Pro. No holiday on Saturday. No holiday. Mohammed. Yeah, data structures to improve more logical skills. Suresh, present market is Spring Boot. Selvin, no, type 1 driver outdated. Next, Bob G. MNC company is also recruiting. Tarun, yeah, without C, you can understand Java, but if you learn, it will be useful in future also. You will never face a problem in logics. Vijaya, Angular also, React also. Actually, these all only Angular enough. If you are interested, you can learn React also. But in your full stack Java course, Angular is there. That is, you can continue. No need again React. Jyoti, yeah. If you know C language, it will be better. Even if you don't know, you can understand, you can do it. But if you know C language logic, if you know core Java logics, if you know SQL logic, very easily you can perform all operations. Neeraj Kumar, yeah, advanced, if you are full stack Java student, Selenium also is there in that full stack Java. That is also learn. It will be better. Full stack, you will become a full stack Java developer. It is better if you learn. Yeah, Deepak, HTML I'll use. Only HTML I'll use. Neeraj, yeah, core Java prerequisite. If you want, you can learn later also. Not a problem. Vijaya, I didn't get your question. One-to-one session, that is maybe few sessions available. You can contact admin. Afsar. Yeah, you can continue. Tarun, for full stack Java, now after Solid's topic, you can learn development, security operation also, and even Spring also. Hayat, yeah. Advanced Java, you are not full stack Java student. Okay, you can join only advanced Java also. That is you contact admin, Hayat. C, C++, both. C, C++, not required, just C language, little knowledge enough. If C language logics are there, in future you will never face a problem. Okay. We'll see continuation tomorrow.